Glenn Davis, once again, thank you, sir. It's always good to see you. We run each other on the campaign trail all the time. He's driving his motor home around. I even got to sit in it one day. It was really nice. Susan Kelly, thank you for the prayer. Robert, for the allegiance pledge. Thank you, sir. We got the flag on the right side. That's always good. 7 weeks from tomorrow, we go to the polls. 7 weeks. We're going to elect a new president, a new vice president, and of course a new Congress. 7 weeks. 50 days. It's not a long time. We have our work cut out for us. And as George said, I cannot remember a time when the election was so important for national security in our world. The candidates are like night and day. We have one candidate who should be in prison, and another candidate needs to put her there. And I'm, of course, supporting Donald Trump and Mike Pence with the election. This past weekend, we saw what happens when you have bad leadership, real bad leadership. The terrorist attacks we had in New York, New Jersey, and they are terrorists. Thank God he's been captured. And I just want to take a moment now to pause and offer a short moment of silence for those officers who were wounded by this terrorist today. So if you please just join with me for a short moment of silence. Thank you. When I see a fellow brother, police officer, assistant police officer injured, it takes me back to my days in law enforcement. Served 25 years in Chesapeake. Luckily, I was never injured by an assailant. I stepped in a hole, so that didn't count. It's all good. My good friend Robert Ike, this former Chesapeake police, we worked together. Beside him is Chris Turner, staff member Matt. He's retired from Portsmouth. He was down and dirty in the undercover world, so a face like that, I don't know how you can do it, but he did. And like I said earlier, we need new leadership, both in the White House and in Congress. Our leadership is not only lacking, it's also embarrassing. It's embarrassing to me, and I'm tired of our leadership embarrassing us and apologizing around the world. We've done nothing wrong to apologize for. We are the we're the strongest nation on earth, and our job is to make certain that we protect our citizens. And so far, they haven't been doing a very good job. And I'm ready to take over that role. Our Congress must be renewed with a new leadership, fresh ideas, and have a common sense approach to problem solving. Common sense, because common sense is out the window anymore. I had to be on my good friend John Frederick's radio show this morning, and we were talking about political correctness, how we couldn't even say the word bomb, couldn't say the word terrorist. Well, let's face it, the terrorists put out a bomb to try to kill people. That's it. Political correctness out the window. Let's talk like we need to talk. Let's be common sense again. Let's go back to what it really is, a problem. We're going to solve that problem. Like, I understand this task ahead of us is very, 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 very hard to do. We have a establishment liberal career politician who's been there since Jimmy Carter was president, in Congress for over 23 years, and he's done nothing. One of my ads, I say he's only passed 5 bills in 23 years. 5. Now that's pretty slack. 3 of those were actually, 2 were renaming buildings, and 1 was selling a piece of land here in the city of Norfolk. So his impact to our district has been very, very poor, to say the least. In fact, one of his mainstays is criminal justice reform. Criminal justice reform. Now, to me, that means you take a justice system, you make it better for the victims to protect people. To him, that means let people out of jail. That's what it's about, letting people out of jail. People that are no parole system put in jail, thankfully Governor Allen, he wants to let them out. So we're going to stop that right away and make certain that those bills that he puts in do not get passed, because he's not going to be there anymore. Kathy and I visited every part of the 3rd District, delivering our message of a new voice for the new 3rd District. And the reception has been very, very positive, surprisingly so, because we've even been to inner city, even inner cities in Hampton and Newport News, and the reception there is refreshing, because they say, you mean finally our vote gets to count? You mean finally we're going to have someone else to vote for besides the guy we've had forever and ever? So yeah, now you've got a clear choice of someone who is totally different than what you've had before. A clear choice of someone who actually worked for you and represents you, because that's what I plan on doing, representing everyone. The old 3rd District was rigged to make certain my opponent would win re-election. With the redrawing of the district lines, that's no longer the case. The voters of the new 3rd District are joining with us to make certain the new 3rd District goes from a hardcore liberal to a modern thinking conservative progressive district. Now, we have problems to solve, hard problems. Well, my background as a police detective, I solved problems. That's what I did in Chesapeake. Took people away, solved the problems, made sure the victims were taken care of. Well, I'm going to use those same common sense approaches to make certain our problems are solved. We're going to work to make our military better than it's ever been. We're going to secure our borders because they're wide open right now. Whether we build a wall, that's going to be up to Mexico. But hopefully we will. Whether it be a physical wall of brick and mortar or just more patrol officers, border patrol ICE officers allowed to do their job, because right now they're not allowed to do their job. My affiliation with the Fraternal Order of Police and State President, I met with a lot of border patrol officers over the years. They're frustrated. They're frustrated because they cannot do their job. The government will not let them do their job. The job they sworn to do, the job they want to do. That's why the Border Patrol agents have already endorsed Donald Trump for president. I enjoyed with that. They'll do the job if they just let them do it. And when I go to Washington, I'm going to protect our constitutional rights and make certain that the recent attempts by our courts and by our administration to rewrite the Constitution are stopped. And the governor said, regulations are being abused over and over again. They're not laws, but they're being treated as laws. So we're going to stop that practice and make certain we can get back to, once again, common sense approaches to running our country. As your next congressman, I'll work to keep our ports open and operating as a major gateway. I'll also work to keep our shipbuilding, ship maintenance, and ship repair office yards here. Bring the ships back home, because the last one just went to Mississippi, I believe. $91 million contract they lost. So look out here. Not a lot of ships out here being worked on. They should be here, the greatest port in the world. We have the greatest shipbuilding facilities in the world, greatest workers in the world. They should be here. Our Congressman Scott, has not done the job to keep them here. Keep that in mind, please. He's not done the job. In fact, I've been meeting with a lot of shipbuilding officials, and they let me in a little secret. One of their meetings that they had with Congressman Reginald Forbes Whitman and Congressman Scott. They expressed their concerns about what's happening in our shipbuilding industry, ship repair industry. And Congressman Scott made a statement. He said, you know, I really don't worry about this stuff. They let these other guys carry the water. I got other things to do. Other things to do. I think he needs to sit in a rocking chair in front of the porch myself. Don't worry about it then. I'm going to work to protect our Second Amendment rights. Believe me, I believe in the Second Amendment. And I'll work to protect all our rights. But I want to make certain that we have the influence in Congress and the White House to make certain that our judges' appointments to the Supreme Court are the right ones. It's going to be a scary time if we get Hillary Clinton in the White House. She gets to appoint the Supreme Court nominees. Very scary time. You know, actually, people may then actually start moving to Canada because they're going to be too afraid. I know it's going to be a scary situation, but we get the right people in the White House. I'm talking Trump organization. We're going to make certain those nominees think like we do. Conservative, aggressive, common sense thinking to make certain our nation is protected and our rights are preserved, and people don't try to rewrite the Constitution, because that's what they're trying to do every single day. Look, I can't begin to thank you for what you're doing. It's makes me feel good to know that somebody like me, non-politician, can stand up and say, okay, I've had enough. I'm in a new 3rd district. I didn't want to be there, but I'm there. And Congressman Scott, I don't want to be my congressman, let's face it. I don't think he's effective. I don't think he's representative of what my views are, or the majority of views are. The new 3rd district is completely redrawn, we all know. Demographics are dramatically changed. It went from the ring district of 70% Democrat to now it's down between 52 and 54%, depending on who you ask. And in fact, as the governor said, the pollsters really don't even know. They don't know what the percentages are. You look at the numbers, it's all messed up. Because I always like to use the example of our presidential primary in March. The experts predicted 500,000 people would vote. Over 1 million people showed up. 1 million. Where did they come from? They came from people like us who are mad, they're angry, and they're scared. They're scared of what our country's going to turn to if we don't get the right people in the White House or the right people in Congress. So I really deeply appreciate what you've done. You know, we're not getting a lot of help from the National Republican Party. They, for some reason, think that the new 3rd district is just not worth it. That's insulting to me, very insulting to me. So we're going to prove to them that the impossible can happen. We're going to prove to the Democrats that when they push for this redistricting, they got the 4th district away from Congressman Forbes. They made it more democratic. They got the 3rd district and realigned it. Hopefully they would keep that congressman in there. We're going to prove to them that it's never a good thing to be careful what you wish for. We're going to wipe them out in the 3rd and the 4th. We're going to take it all back. And we turn this whole area back Republican where it belongs, because this is what we are. Conservatives who believe in our government, who believe in our God, who believe in our Constitution, and we will make certain it never, ever happens again when we have a redistricting. Now, you all know my opponent, Bobby Scott. Been there a long, long time. But recently, what's bothered me even more is that Congressman Scott has been making a lot of public overtures about what he wants to do in the future. Now, I know some guy named Alan George Sr. said the future's now. And it is. The future's now. So Congressman Scott, here it is. You need to rely on today, not the future. Get your head out of the clouds. You're not entitled to anything. I know you want a coronation to the Senate. A lot of things have got to go bad for that to happen. I don't think they're going to go bad. They're going to go good. Very, very good. So let's just say, for instance, the worst happens. Our opponent's in the White House. I don't want to say her name again. In the White House. And my opponent somehow wins, which I don't think is going to happen. And then all of a sudden, he has an opening in Congress, the Senate. Today, I'm going to publicly challenge my opponent to make a pledge, a promise, a public acknowledgement, that if elected, he will promise to serve out his full 2-year term. Promise to serve out his full 2-year term. And not accept a confirmation or a coronation to the United States Senate. Not accept it. Bobby Scott, you must show that you're dedicated to this district, the new 3rd district. If you're not dedicated, get out of the race. Get out, sit down, go home, and worry about it later. You need to be dedicated to the people of the 3rd district just like I am. I want to serve the full 2-year term and afterwards if possible. I want to represent the people in the new 3rd district. And if the worst case scenario happens and he's appointed to the Senate, the new 3rd district, right where we're standing, will have no representation for at least 6 months. None. We cannot survive that. Our industry cannot survive that. Our children cannot survive that. Our Navy cannot survive that. We need representation from day 1, starting January 3rd. So Bobby Scott, here it is. Make the pledge or get out. Promise, do the job, or get out. I know that's may come as a shock to my opponent. He's a very good gentleman, don't get me wrong, but he's been there too long. I think it's time to send Mr. Scott home, and they can have their picnic some other time if they like. And maybe you can invite Hillary and Tim Kaine there, so they can talk about what happened. That's okay too. But you know, it's a new day, it's a new dawn, it's a new district. And the people of the new 3rd district deserve representation. They haven't had it before. They have not had it before. Those who have had Mr. Scott before as a congressman, a lot of them don't want him back. So here I am, the alternative candidate. The candidate who will actually represent them and listen to them. I always like to tell people this is the truth. When I go around talking to people, I give them my personal cell phone number. I said, this is how you reach a representative. You call me. And you'd be surprised. People call me all times, all hours of the day. Say, I'd like to speak with somebody from Marty Williams campaign. I said, how about Marty Williams? I mean, that'd be great. I said, what are you talking about? And they silence, just like silence. Like, really? I said, yeah, it's me. What can I do for you? And they go into the long spiel of what they want, and I listen to them because that's what I'm supposed to do. And sure, Congressman will do the same thing. The doors won't have a lock on them in my congressional offices. They're not going to have a lock. I want you there. Because I want you to tell me what you want. I want you to tell me your needs, what's bothering you. Because that's what a representative is supposed to do. Instead, the majority of them, the bad ones especially, are simply worried about the next election. Worried about a soundbite. That's not what our government was designed for. It's not what our framers of the Constitution designed it for. They designed it to be represented, and I will be your representative. So, in short, my friends, it's a rough road, but I'm ready to run that road. I'm not going to stop until November the 8th at 7:01 p.m. when we have a victory party, and I invite you all to come. Thank you all for being here today. We're going to have a great victory on November 8th.